Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. So I am going to film a different video kind of than I normally do. And it's my summer TBR, to be read list. So I've started reading the last couple of years a lot for my adult life. In my childhood, I really enjoyed reading. Through college, I read like the Harry Potter series, Hunger Games, Twilight, those kinds of series. And then as an adult, I read a lot of like nonfiction and just kind of got out of reading. And then, gosh, several years ago, I'm trying to remember, like probably 3 years ago now, I had a goal for myself to read like 10 books for the year. It was one of my New Year's resolutions. And then I started reading Colleen Hoover books, and that spiraled into reading just a ton every year. And, my tastes have changed and I still enjoy Colleen Hoover, but I've branched out into other books and just really enjoy reading. And I love watching YouTubers talk about the books that they're reading and what they're planning on reading. So I thought I would incorporate some reading videos into my channel every once in a while. So let's talk about what I'm planning to read this summer. If you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. My name's Chelsea, and let's get into it. For the first part of the summer, I read the, it was The Legacy, it was like The Goal, The Legacy, The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. It was her original hockey series. Briar U, I think, is where it takes place. But anyway, it was a good series. It was very spicy. If you're not into those kinds of books, I would not recommend, to the point where sometimes I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. But the stories were engaging and they were pretty quick reads. So I read through that series that had been on my list for a while. And then I read The Reappearance of Rachel Price, which is by the author Holly Jackson. So Holly Jackson wrote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I loved that series. It was a 3-book series. I enjoyed the first 2 more than the last one. The last one got pretty dark for me. But The Reappearance of Rachel Price was a really good kind of mystery thriller, kept you on your toes. It wasn't super scary. And so that was really enjoyable, and I would recommend that book. And then I read Out on a Limb, which was an accidental pregnancy book, and really enjoyed that. Such a sweet book. And then most recently, before I get into what I want to continue to read this summer, was a book called Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. Such a good story. So it's kind of just a general fiction book about a woman who lives in the Pacific Northwest named Tova. She is in retirement age and she volunteers at an aquarium. She's had a pretty hard life in the sense that she lost her son. This isn't a spoiler. You kind of figure this out in the first chapter or 2, but she lost her son when he was a senior in high school. And throughout the book, she's trying to figure out like exactly what happened with him. And the book introduces a bunch of different characters, one of them being a octopus at this aquarium that she works at or volunteers at, and his name is Marcellus. Now, the octopus doesn't speak to her, but he keeps a log throughout the book, so it's like his inner dialogue with himself. And so every few chapters, it kind of starts with, or it has his monologue, like day 1237 of captivity, and just what he's observing and what his thoughts are. And so the octopus, her, and then these other characters that are introduced, they all just kind of weave together, and the story is really beautiful. I would definitely recommend it. It started off really slow for me. It took me about a third of the way to a half of the way through the book to really get hooked into the story, but pushed through to the end because it was just, again, a beautiful story and one that stuck with me, and I was telling my husband about it. And I will definitely recommend it to anybody who is looking for a good book to read. So those are the books I've read so far. It's now July 9th. So for the rest of the summer, I'm currently reading, what's it called? Is it The Rule Book by Sarah Adams? The Rule Book? It's the one about the football player and the best friend. So I'm about a third of the way through that book. It's cute so far. I don't have any review of like my thoughts on it yet. I think it's just it's like a cheesy romance book. And I think it'll be a quick read. I'm enjoying it. I had it on hold at the library, and I've been like on the wait list forever on my Kindle, and it finally came available. So it wasn't on my radar to read this summer, but because it came available. No, it's the cheat sheet is what it's called. Anyway, it came up available on my Kindle, so I took it and I'm reading it, and then I'll move on to the rest of my TBR. So after that book, my plan is to jump into the Summer I Turned Pretty books. I know this has a huge fan following, so I actually picked these up from my library. So we have, I think the first book is The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then We'll Always Have Summer and It's Not Summer Without You. I'm not sure what order you're supposed to read this in, but I'll figure it out. There's a show on Netflix currently, and I know people are loving the show. They love the series, so I'm really excited to read through these. Apparently the setting is just prime summertime. So those are coming up. Then I'm going to read, I had, gosh, what is the book? Comes after Every Summer After, by, I can't think of the name of the author. No, I can't think of it. I had it from my library, but I didn't get through it in time, and I had to return it before I was able to read it. So I might purchase that book. It's her latest book, and gosh, why can't I think of the author's name? Carly Fortune. It's her latest summer book, and I've heard great things about it. It's called One Golden Summer. And I might purchase that by the end of the summer. I put myself back on the wait list for it at the library. I try to get as much as I can from my library just because I keep looking over there because I have bookshelves, and I love having physical books, but then you have to store them. And now my bookshelves are pretty full. So my plan is to keep trying as much as I can to just check out books from the library. And then if I can't get something at my library, get it on my Kindle. Okay, so after The Summer I Turned Pretty, I'm going to read the Annabelle Monaghan It's a Love Story, which this is her newest book. She's a really great author that I think just in the past year, I've heard people start to talk about from the YouTubers that I watch, or the booktubers that I watch, but she's written several summer books, and I love her writing. They're really quick, easy reads, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. And then these are two books that have been out for a while, but have been on my radar for a couple of years. So Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know she just came out with Atmosphere this summer. It's her newest book. I have a bunch of backlist books by her that I want to read. I've only ever read, is it Malibu Rising? And I think one other book by her. So I'm excited to read Carrie Soto is Back. That's my next one. And this is about tennis. And I know that in Malibu Rising, Carrie Soto was kind of like a character that was mentioned. So I'm curious to hear what this book, just how it goes and how I like it. But I do like her writing. And then Christina Lauren, The Paradise Problem. I've heard this book has great setting for the summertime, and it's a just easy rom-com. So those are the 6 to 7 books that my plan is to read through the rest of July and into August. And probably by mid-August to late August, I'll be moving into my fall TBR. And I love to plan ahead, like starting now-ish. I keep a list on my phone of the different titles that I'm planning to read. I have a huge TBR of books that I just want to read at some point. But because I like to read seasonally, I have like usually 5 to 10 books each season that I'm like, these, I have to get to these. So then I'll go onto my library and try to reserve them. And then again, if I can't get them from my library, then I purchase them or buy them on my Kindle. And I'm looking forward to that. Fall and like Christmas season are my favorite seasons for reading. Summer as well. I guess I don't have a bad season for reading. But anyway, those are the books that I'm going to read this summer. Let me know what you've been reading. If there's a book you highly recommend, if you've read any of these, what your thoughts are. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.